Alright everyone, welcome to the Live MMA show. Today we're going to talk a little bit about MFN 15. MFN finally got back to the Noida Indoor Stadium, I think after 5 months. It's been a long time since they've been back here. They came back with a bang, put on a really good show, some really good fights. In fact, I think they had more fights than a normal UFC card. There were 13 fights, 26 fighters on the card. So it was a big event, right? It was also one of the few cards, MFN cards, that had a title fight on it. It was the Bantamweight title decided between Chungreng Koren taking on Kantharaj Agasa, Chungren from Manipur, Kantharaj from Bangalore. And it was a good fight. It really showed off the fact that Chungren's camp now are basically at the top of the Indian MMA game. They know exactly how to game plan for particular guys. Sure, Kantharaj missed weight and was off for 2 years. But even then, a guy like Kantharaj is an experienced veteran. He knows how to deal with these situations. And he's a grappler, right? He's a good grappler. For the first round, it ensured exactly that. Chungren had to defend a couple of takedown attempts from Kantharaj, who was trying his level best double legs, using trips, mat returns, trying to get Chungren to the mat. But Chungren was smart, patient, got to his feet and basically reversed position. By the time the second round hit, now again, I'm not sure if the weight cut was a problem or was the ring rust, but Kantharaj looked a little slower. He looked like he was having a hard time keeping up with Chungren. And Chungren just basically, I wouldn't say, like a lot of people say like he broke him, and sometimes I would say, but like it's not a good thing to say about someone. So I would say that he overwhelmed Kantharaj, right? Chungren overwhelmed Kantharaj with his wrestling, with his tenaciousness, with his aggressive like style, and basically laid on punishment for a TKO in the second round. Very impressive win by Chungren. Moves his record now to, I think, 6-1, right? And now is basically he's basically the undisputed Bantamweight champion of MFN. He's earned it the hard way, and now defended it. So Chungren retains his title in a dominant fashion against Kantharaj. Now the only question is, who does he fight next? We've got Mohammad Farad, who he beat in his last fight, but who picked up a win against Choudhary. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But apart from that, we're not exactly sure. Maybe someone like Clinton De Cruz could move up from 125. There's always Punyajit, who may be cut down to 135. Punyajit Likharu. I don't know if he's contracted with MFN right now, but there's a couple of 135 fighters in and out about the MMA scene. But I can't think of anybody currently who would challenge Chungren in terms of just skill and talent-wise. So there's that. Chungreng Koren by TKO in the second round against Kantharaj Agasa. Very very performance. I want to move on to the co-main event. This was a real, as the MMA aficionados call, tasty fight. This is a really great fight. This was Shyam Anand taking on Rahul Thapa. Shyam Anand, bruiser, juggernaut, only losses to champion Sanjeev Bhudwar, going up against Rahul Thapa, who was at the time looked at as an underdog. In fact, even at the press conference, a lot of people were calling it a mismatch. I didn't think it was a mismatch. I thought that Rahul would have a hard time, but I didn't think it was going to be a mismatch. We spoke to Shyam Anand about it, and he talked about it on the interview as well. You can check it out in the description below. Shyam Anand talks about Rahul's top control and his top game, right? And Warriors Cove are basically known as a grappling heavy gym, and they're very good grapplers in that gym. And that's exactly what happened. I was shocked. Like Rahul Thapa shot in for a takedown, got his hands clasped around Shyam Anand's thighs, and just ripped him off the fence.
Oh, yeah.
And held him down. I mean, sure, like he didn't really do much damage, but sometimes in MMA, when you're fighting against guys like this, you have to play to your strengths, right? He played to his strength, put Shyam Anand down, and Shyam Anand was having a hard time trying to get up. Sure, he landed a lot of good elbows from the bottom, a lot of damage from the bottom. But at the end of the day, if you're at the bottom in an MMA fight, the judges will always go against you because you got taken down and put in that position. Second round, same thing. Shyam Anand was having a very hard time finding Rahul's chin. And Rahul was smart, right? Came up to the high guard, protected his head from any wayward shots, anything crazy. And again, dove in for a takedown, took him down, and basically held him in control, controlled him for the entire round. Third round came, both guys are a little bit tired now. Rahul takes mount this time. But as soon as he does take mount, Shyam Anand smart, like does the correct defense, puts his hands on the hips and tries to scoot away. Very tough fight for both guys, but an impressive showing by Rahul Thapa to show that he's a featherweight contender in MFN. They've got a true contender in Thapa. He's got the skill set to match. Now, who does he fight in featherweight? There are a lot of guys, I don't know if Badakshi's fighting after, or there are a bunch of other guys on the roster. But if I were to say, like, the roster is shallow enough that you could give him Sanjeev Bhudwar next.
I mean, it's all right.
Maybe Rahul Thapa goes for the featherweight title. So yeah, I mean, Sanjit Budwar's hands are broken. His arm's broken from the last fight with Badakshi. I think his left arm was kicked and was broken, the same arm that he knocked out Badakshi with. So he's recovering from that. So maybe there's another featherweight on the roster that could take on Rahul Thapa in the interim, but I would like to see him fight for a title next. I think he deserves it. He's put on a win streak. He's got a 3-fight win streak in MFN now. Finished 2 and dominant decision over very, very, very tough contender in Shyam Anand. Excellent win by Rahul Thapa. Again, hope to see him in the featherweight contendership soon. The fight I want to talk about next, this is basically a veteran fight. Guys from back in the day. Pawan Singh taking on Sandeep Dahiya. Pawan Maan and Sandeep Dahiya are the true veterans of the scene. These guys have been there from the beginning, and I'm talking about 2012. So this is like 12, 13 years later. For these guys to have the career that they're having over that span of time is really impressive. And sure, losses come, wins come, but to stay in the game for that long just requires a special amount of determination, a special amount of willpower. And again, like I was talking about this the other day, and I said that the fight was very sloppy, and it was. But like, we need a sloppy fight once in a while, guys. Like, we can't have, every fight can't be like, the most technical, like, pitter patter, like beautiful striking match. Sometimes you just gotta go for it. You just need a bar fight, like,
Exactly.
And this was exactly that. Sandeep and Pawan put on a barn burner, got the crowd riled up. Older fighters, the first thing that starts to go when fighters start getting older is speed and footwork. These things take a back seat. You're not as fast anymore. Your feet don't move anymore. You're carrying a little bit of weight. Oh, I also must mention, Pawan Maan fought at lightweight, is a lightweight fighter at 155 pounds. This contest was at 205 pounds. You can well imagine the weight gain. So I think these guys were like, 30 to 40 kilos heavier than they normally were. So they were both big, they were both tired. By the time the second round came by, you could still see the power was there, like they were cracking each other. But just that speed and that, I can't explain it, that footwork and that quick twitch muscle, movement wasn't there. And Pawan still had the nice duck and roll and would still have a nice left hook coming in, but Sandeep was just a little bit better and managed to hit him with a beautiful, I think it was a right hand and a knee in the clinch that dropped Pawan, and obviously got the TKO from there. This was the 4th fight in their long rivalry, and hopefully this puts an end to their 5th fight.
No, it was the 4th one, but now it has to be there. Has to be a 5th one.
So yeah, well, my producer tells me that there has to be a 5th fight now because they have to they've got to equalize this. So hopefully we see this at some point.
No, God!
I pray that it's not at light heavyweight, because I don't think the extra weight helps with the conditioning. But hey, like, these guys are veterans, man. We've got to give them the fights that they want to have at this age, like they deserved it and they earn it. And sorry, they deserved it and they've earned it over the hard years of fighting. So Pawan Maan takes a bad TKO loss against Sandeep Dahiya in the second round of their contest. All right, the next fight I want to talk about, I really sort of want to showcase this fighter, is Digamber Singh Rawat. Impressive win. He's 3-0, took on a debuting fighter in Kahaf, Abdul Kahaf. He tried his best, tried taking Digamber down, put him up against the cage, lasted only about a minute. As soon as there was any separation and he rushed in, he got caught with a beautiful check right hook, which put him down, and just Digamber laid on the punishment for a TKO victory in less than 3 minutes. Very, very impressive win by the Dehradun native. Very good striking. Looked good, but then again, like, how much can you really tell from a minute, right? He just completely ran through an overmatched opponent. Abdul was not on his level, and it was very clear. He just credit to Digamber Singh, because he basically showed what you should do against a guy who's just not on your level. He shouldn't last there in 3 minutes with you, and he did exactly that. So excellent win for him. Mutant MMA Academy doing a really, really good job with getting these prospects the right kind of training and the right kind of strategic fighting capabilities. I'm really happy with what they've done. Again, I don't know if there are any other featherweight contenders. Maybe if the MFN, if MFN is looking at building prospects, maybe he could fight Rahul Thapa next. Or if they're trying to maybe build up Digamber a little bit, put him up against a striking opponent, or looking to put Shyam Anand back on the thing, maybe that's a good fight to have. Shyam Anand versus Digamber Singh Rawat. Their records are relatively similar, 4-0 versus 5-3. So it's not too much of a stretch to imagine, right? I think that would be a very, very good fight. What do you guys think? Hopefully, you can let us know in the comments down below. Digamber Singh Rawat versus Shyam Anand for MFN 16-17, maybe. But yeah, he picks up a TKO win in the KO/TKO win in the first round. Impressive showing by him. He could also fight Neeraj Pangat, but Neeraj did get knocked out by him cold in his last fight. So I don't. He did call Digamber out after KOing Abhishek Rana, but I don't know if that's a smart fight for Neeraj though. Like I think Digamber is just a little bit too much for him in terms of skill and killer finishing instinct. So yeah, Digamber Singh Rawat by KO TKO in round 1. Move on to the next one. Something I was really impressed with. I felt bad for was veteran Govind. Same, another guy who's been around for a really long time, since the beginning. In fact, I think he fought at one of the first few SFL shows back in the day, right? Like, so the guy's been there from the beginning, fought everywhere around the world, lots of experience, a little older, a little long in the tooth. Took on a very dangerous Arshiyan Memon is his name, from Bombay. Very good fighter, undefeated record, 6-0 coming in, and he got hit with a beautiful right hand. And when he dropped, it looked like a bad one, like his head kind of bounced off the mat, and he took some unnecessary punishment. The ref called it there. It was, I think, third or fourth minute of the first round. Bad loss for Govind, but for Arshiyan Memon, excellent win for him. He gets a good win against a big name opponent, someone who's a veteran in the scene. Gives him a lot of goodwill going forward, right? You have a name like Govind on your record. It's a good reputation going forward. Like, other promotions will look at it and say like, all right, this guy is ready for the big show. But yeah, excellent win for Memon. I feel bad for Govind. He's been here for a long time, fighting at flyweight. I don't know who he could fight next. Arshiyan Memon, same thing, 125. Maybe Clinton De Cruz. I don't know where Clinton is exactly. He's been out for like 2 years almost. Like, I really want to see him back. There are a few other guys here on the roster that he could fight, but excellent win by him. And the last fight I really want to focus on, and I generally don't talk about women's MMA, but it was the first fight of the night, was Rekha Choudhary taking on Jojo Rajkumari. And oof, this was a banger. Like, I mean, it opened up the card. It was just on from the beginning. Rekha Choudhary looked very, very good. I think this girl's been fighting a lot. I think it was debut in MFN, and she took on a veteran in Jojo Rajkumari. Jojo tried her level best, but she just could not stop the assault. Like, Rekha was a little bit too much for her, had a bit more in the gas tank, was a little bit bigger, a little bit faster, a little bit stronger, and just basically crushed her in the second round. Jojo took a bad beating.
Jojo dropped her.
She did? In the first round, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah, she dropped her in the first round after getting rocked. My producer is correct as well. Jojo Rajkumar did drop her in the first round with the left hand, if I remember correctly. Dropped her the left hand in the first round. But Rekha again showed a chin, showed why she's bigger, stronger, came back, pressed her up against the cage and just roughed her up there. I don't know if Jojo Rajkumari can drop another division, because this was like at 115. So like it's a very small division. I don't know.
Why she's training though. I mean, like, she was a takedown monster when she fought.
She had a rough time with Rekha in this fight. Like, Rekha just showed that she was, again, a little bit stronger, a little bit bigger, a little bit more technical, right? Like, again, all credit to the Warriors Cove guys. I think these guys are the premier mixed martial arts team in the country. There's a reason why all the pros go to them, right? Like, they're doing something right. If they weren't doing all of this right, why would all these guys go train with them? Why would Sanjeet Budwar be in their camp? Why would Angad go train with them? Rahul Thapa train with them? Why would Chungren train with them? You know, so it's clear that these guys are doing something right. Rekha Choudhary didn't have to cut the last few pounds, and that really plays a major part, right? Because your body is not completely depleted. So again, I do feel for Jojo Rajkumari. It's a tough loss for her. Again, nothing is fair in MMA, like, especially in fighting, dude. When you're in there, like, all sorts of crazy shit happens in the cage. And so you have to, like, that's where the true mettle of champions is tested. It's when things don't go your way and things are unfair and you still come out on top. That's what, again, I keep talking about, elite level fighters, right? Like, you get eye poked, doesn't matter. Get your nose broken, doesn't matter. Like, I go back to the Justin Gaethje Max Holloway fight. Sure, Justin Gaethje lost, but dude, the guy got his nose broken in the first round and he fought 3-4 more rounds after that. Like, that's a different level of toughness. Like, when you break your nose, even just like touching it hurts. Like, it sends a shockwave of pain all across your body. And he still fought 4 rounds after that. Rory McDonald against Robbie Lawler. Like, these guys are built of a different breed, right? Like, so all sorts of stuff happens in an MMA fight. So you can't say, like, you know, like, yeah, sure, the weight cut was there and she didn't have to fight the last few pounds. But when you're in that cage, it's go time. So I feel very bad for Jojo Rajkumari. She took a bad loss, but excellent win for Rekha Choudhary. Hopefully she can make weight the next fight. If she can't move up a weight class and maybe You'll have better success that way. You don't have to put your body through so much, of a weight cut and like a drain. All in all, excellent event from MFN. Sure, there are a few production gaps here and there, but that's okay. Like it's accepted, because these guys host 3 shows a year, and honestly speaking, I would love to see more. This is something that we talked about in the press conference as well. I'd asked Aisha about this, and she was very candid about it and said that the Shroff family is basically funding all of this. So it's very difficult for them to have more than 3 shows a year, and it's understandable. We do want to see more though. Like, this is one thing I want to tell the people in MFN. We'd love to see more. All it does is it'll just build up a better roster of fighters, gives your champions legitimacy, and just keeps the ball rolling. I'm not saying 3 shows a year is bad, and it's far from bad. It's excellent that the fact that we're getting 3 shows a year. But if we could have like maybe 6, that would just make it like, if you're having chocolate cake, don't you want to have like, toppings on it, like, or an incredible pizza? This is like
What?
6 shows a year would be just the toppings on the pizza, right? Good, really, really good show. Hopefully they're not as many fights. Last time it was a bit long, like 13 fights was a bit too long. Maybe they shortened it down to like 10, 11 to 10, but excellent night of fights. What else is there to say about MFN? Like, they've done a really, really good job. Hopefully they come back to Noida next time. Like I keep telling these guys, there's no point going anywhere else. Just come to Noida. The stadium was full, right? By the end of the night, like, it was packed. Like, the crowd was raucous. It was loud. I could barely hear what the guy beside me was saying, and my friends were telling me. It was an incredible night. All right, that was all for now. Thank you guys for watching. They've got a whole bunch of content coming up soon. If you guys like this kind of content, please like, share, subscribe. If you like these kinds of breakdowns, let us know. Comment in the comments below. We'd really, really appreciate any kind of engagement we get. As for now, if you like UFC content, we have a bit of that coming up as well. There's Sean O'Malley versus Merab Dvalishvili at 308 at the Sphere next week. There's Gilbert Burns versus Sean Brady this week. Whole bunch of MMA content coming up. And thank you guys so much for watching. For me, Andrew Lu. And remember, guys, live MMA now.